Hi everyone, in this presentation I'm going to describe one of the many MRI pulse sequences. Among different pulse sequences I have chosen principles of echo shifting with a train of observations, or PRESTO, to work on it. In many MRI applications it's desirable to minimize the effect that susceptibility variation has on image, for example to reduce signal loss near metallic implants. This has helped to enhance the popularity of conventional RF spin echo for routine clinical imaging. Sometimes, however, T2 star rating is desired for applications such as perfusion imaging that use contrast agents and fMRI based on the bold contrast. In other applications such as MR thermometry, a long TE is also desirable to increase its sensitivity to proton resonance frequency offset. Because the T2 star rating factor in gradient echoes is exponential of minus TE over T2 star, a strong T2 star rating requires a long TE. The main advantage of gradient echo pulse sequences, however, is their short TR, which provides acquisition speed. Because generally TE is lower than TR, the use of conventional gradient echoes for these applications has been limited. By allowing TE exceeding TR, echo-shifted or ES pulse sequences such as PRESTO enable the rapid acquisition of images that require a long TE. An echo-shifted gradient echo pulse sequence includes modified or additional gradient loops that delay the echo formation by at least 1 TR interval. A representative example of an ES gradient echo pulse sequence is shown in this slide. The modified gradient lobes are played on the slice selection waveform in this example. The slice selection rephasing gradient lobe has area minus 2a, which is equal to twice its normal value. ES pulse sequences generally use a symmetric RF excitation pulse that has its ISO delay point at the center of the slice selection gradient lobe. The extra gradient area in the slice rephasing lobe, shaded part in the figure, act as a spoiler to dephase the transverse magnetization so that no signal is observed in the first TR interval. After the first readout, a positive gradient lobe of area A is played on the slice selection axis so that the transverse magnetization is again in phase at the end of this gradient lobe. The next two lobes on the slice axis, the slice selection and rephasing for the next TR interval, have equal and opposite areas of 2A and minus 2A respectively. After these two lobes are applied, the portion of the transverse magnetization that is produced by the first RF pulse can be rephased in the center of the readout window. The transverse magnetization produced by the second RF pulse is dephased and does not contribute to the signal at the second readout window. Instead, that magnetization is refocused at the third readout window. In this way, TE that is greater than the TR is achieved. Now, three examples of design strategies will be shown. One strategy to shift the echo by 1 TR interval is to apply gradient lobes of area minus A' and 2A' before and after each readout, respectively, as shown in this figure. In this figure, A' denotes an arbitrary gradient area that is sufficiently large to spoil the transverse magnetization. It's not necessarily equal to A, which shown in the previous figure. This figure shows a second strategy that shifts the echo by 1 TR interval. The spoiler gradients, which are played before the readout, have equal area A', but their polarity alternates every TR interval. These spoiler gradients, which are also called crasher gradient, are often used in conjunction with RF spoiling to dephase the transverse steady state in ES pulse sequences. Usually the echo is shifted by just one TR interval so that TE is greater than TR and is lower than 2 times of TR. Value of TE greater than 2 TR further increase T2 star weighting. These longer shifts are implemented with gradient lobes that vary periodically over a few TR cycles. For example, as shown in this slide, to shift the echo by 2 TR intervals, an additional gradient lobe with area minus 3 times of A' can be played before the readout in the first TR interval. 2 times of A' in the second and A' in the third TR interval. The entire cycle then repeats every 3 times of TR intervals, so TE is greater than 2 times of TR and is lower than 3 times of TR. To further increase acquisition speed, ES pulse sequences are often combined with echo train imaging as in PRESTO. This figure shows a representative pulse sequence diagram for PRESTO. As in figure for the strategy number 1, modified gradient lobes on the slice selection waveform delay the echo formation by 1 TR interval. The frequency encoding waveform now contains a train of EPI type readouts. A small positive gradient lobe is played on the frequency encoding axis after the echo train. This ensures that the net gradient area in any single TR interval is 0 because the frequency encoding waveform is not contributing to the echo shift in this example. Before echo readout window, a gradient lobe is played along the phase encoding axis to produce an individually phase encoded K-space line. In this example, the use of echo train reduces the number of TR intervals required to cover K-space and complete the acquisition. It means that the number of shots from n of phase plus 1 to n phase over 6 plus 1, where n phase is the number of phase encoding steps. A more general expression for the number of shots required to cover K-space can obtain from this formula, where the int function provides the integer part of its argument. The echo train length, or NETL, in PRESTO is usually limited to 20 or shorter, which reduces the image distortion due to off-resonance effect as well as blurring artifacts that can occur in echo planar images in the presence of short T2 star. As shown on the pulse sequences, a negative phase encoding prephasing lobe initializes the K-space trajectory away from Ky equal to 0. The amplitude of the prephasing lobe is incremented each TR interval. A series of positive blip phase encodings are then applied in between the readout for K-space traversal in the Ky direction. At the end of the echo train, a negative rewinding lobe is applied so that the net area on the phase encoding waveform is 0 in any TR interval. Diagram that depict a typical interval traversal of K-space is shown in this slide. The echo with greatest amplitude occurs near the center of the K-space, that is where the accumulated blip area cancels or most nearly cancels the area of the prephasing lobes. That echo provides an effective echo time equal to T effective initial plus n times of TR. As I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, applications of ES gradient echo and PRESTO include any imaging situation in which T2 star contrast weighting or a line TE is desired in conjunction with rapid acquisition. Perfusion imaging based on dynamic susceptibility changes and fMRI based on the bold contrast are relatively well established applications of PRESTO. Another application of ES pulse sequences is MR thermometry using the dependence of the proton resonance frequency or PRF on temperature. Applications of PRF methods include in vivo temperature monitoring during procedures such as focused ultrasound tissue ablation. PRF methods calculate a temperature difference map by forming a phase difference image based on acquisitions obtained at two different temperatures. These are the list of the references that I use for my presentation. Thanks for your attention.